Ever heard that creatine causes hair loss, or that you need to crush high reps to get abs? What about a lifting belt or straps hindering your progress? Today I'm gonna be talking about 10 of these myths and debunking them and explaining why that is. First up, creatine and hair loss. Many people still believe that taking creatine will make you lose your hair. However, there is no scientific evidence directly linking creatine to hair loss. Creatine, being one of the most researched supplements, is proven to be safe and effective. If you're concerned about hair loss, it's more likely due to genetics rather than creatine. The usual concern about creatine causing hair loss primarily stems from a single study that observed an increase in DHT levels among participants who took creatine. DHT being a hormone linked to hair loss, especially in individuals genetically prepositioned to baldness. However, evidence is not conclusive or doesn't have any direct cause of hair loss. This being not accountable for long-term effects, this is because the DHT levels affect minor hormonal functions that could be influenced by creatine. Next, many people believe that doing high-rep, non-weighted ab exercises is the best way to get a six-pack. This is not simply true. While high-rep exercises can improve endurance and are good for athletes, they won't necessarily build any muscle to reveal your abs. To get visible abs, you need to focus on a caloric deficit and lose some fat. Much better alternative are weighted ab exercises to build muscle. Think about it this way. Would you ever train your chest 20 plus repetitions not even being close to failure, rather than loading up more weight and taking your chest to failure? Well, the same naturally applies to your abs. Simply pick an weighted exercise and perform 6 to 12 repetitions until failure to develop bigger abs, which could show better. As many still believe going bare mode is ideal and staying at a high body fat percentage to help build muscle more effectively. This is not simply true. Excess body fat isn't optimal for muscle growth. Having high body fat is correlated with reduced insulin tolerance, hormonal imbalance issues, and metabolic health concerns. It should also be stated that you're barely gaining more muscle than you would lean bulking, thus needing to cut longer and even losing muscle in the cutting process. Many still believe that you need a full week of deloading to let the body rest. This is simply not the case. 3 to 4 days of deloading is more than enough if you take proper rest times. While a full week of deloading or more has a place in time, most of the time 3 or 4 days are more than enough. One thing I see a lot of the time is people thinking there's an anabolic window, meaning you need to get protein in right after having a workout. While the reality is that timing of protein intake isn't critical, and the total daily protein intake is way more important. Consuming protein before bed could instead be beneficial, but it doesn't really have meaning. You might have heard several times that people talk about lifting straps or a lifting belt being the cause of bad grip strength and low core strength. In reality, these tools can help you lift heavier weights safely and won't hinder progress if you also strengthen grip and learn to use your core properly. Think of your core as a can of soda. When the soda is opened, you could easily crush it by stepping on it. When the soda is closed and unopened, it has a lot of pressure built inside of it. That way standing on it wouldn't crush it. And think of that as the same when bracing before a big lift. The idea of getting toned often confuses people. Toning referring to building muscle and losing fat. There are no special exercises or rep ranges. This is because you won't accidentally get too big. Women often assume lifting weights will make them overall muscular. This simply requires specific training and nutrition. In practical terms, getting toned is simply not a thing. And I guarantee that it's completely impossible to accidentally get too big. If you as a woman were born a man, you would have around 10 times the testosterone that you currently have. And even then it's still impossible to accidentally get too big. Many people still believe that high volume is better for muscle growth. This is simply not the case. More isn't always better, and you should focus on quality of exercise before quantity. There is no such thing as spamming something. Choose 2 to 3 exercises per muscle group and focus on getting as strong as possible. High volume often only works for PD users, as they could recover much quicker than non-PD users or naturals. Stick with lower volume but higher intensity training, as this is proven to be better for hypertrophy. Another common myth is that ejaculation lowers testosterone levels. Research has shown that normal activity has minimal effect on testosterone levels. In fact, some studies even suggest that abstaining from it for prolonged periods could actually decrease your testosterone. There's no need to worry about your testosterone levels being affected due to it. Last up, a common myth many people still believe in is spot reducing fat. Fat loss happens universally across the body and is driven by diet. Genetics play a significant role in where you would lose your fat first. Spot reducing is simply not a thing. Well, that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, give me some feedback on it.